can't say that that van is going 100 or even 99 miles an hour. Oh, whoa!
Oh my goodness!
No,
oh,
no,
my gosh!
Oh my
goodness!
Oh my what goodness. Is the purpose of that? That person just sitting there innocent, and now that van just collided right there. Some other passengers getting out of other vehicles,
jumped out of the vehicle.
For cover.
These unsuspecting drivers again on their way to work and school drop-off, things like that this morning. Oh,
yeah,
goodness.
LAPD coming up. Okay, their person is out of the vehicle, climbing out of the vehicle right there.
On the roof of the car?
Climbing on top. Yep, climbing on top of the car, pointing at the big rig again. I don't know what that fascination with these big rigs are, but LAPD, now they have this situation. You know, you've got injured folks. You have clearly aggression towards the LAPD officers. And if this person tries to carjack this big rig, this is going to end very poorly. That weapon right there, that green laser, that is less than lethal. That is a less than lethal. So, you know, possibly this is coming to an end right now, but what a crazy violent end right there. The person's still up on that roof of that vehicle and the big rig, but I am very concerned about the person inside that car right there. That was definitely a hard hit. That vehicle completely stopped, and then that van just colliding on purpose with that vehicle. LAPD taking that suspect into custody right there, but again, what a crazy morning out here on the 405 freeway. This ending in the Brentwood area just before, right at Wilshire Boulevard. But again, that was, you know, LAPD, they had, what could they do? What could they do?
This car hit head on. I just want to make sure someone's rendering aid to this poor driver, just with no idea.
It almost looked like this was bound to end the way that it happened, with the driver driving the wrong direction on the 405, sometimes at a high rate of speed, and then ramming into a few vehicles there before stopping at a big rig. Unfortunately, this big rig was just too much for that van. But this all began just before 5 o'clock this morning in the West LA, Santa Monica area, with an officer asking for help because it had gotten into a collision with this van, and then the van going through the surface streets of Santa Monica and West LA, ramming other police cars. So there was no way that these officers could stop this van, and then the van making its way to the 405 freeway on this busy rush hour and going the wrong direction as officers tried to stop this van. The van then ramming into a couple of vehicles before coming to a stop, going head-on into this big rig here, but that person taken into custody.
Yeah, and we've seen multiple officers walk up to the car that was just hit head-on there, just stopped on the freeway. And that driver appears to be okay. It seems they're getting repeated thumbs up.
Looks like the officers are talking to some of the drivers there who are still in their vehicles, Stu.
Yeah, they are definitely, but my biggest concern is with Brooke is the driver inside this vehicle right there. That, you know, it seems like the driver is, you know, as okay as can be.
Right.
That's the best way to word it. You can see him moving around. Why they're not getting out of that vehicle, that is a little bit of a question mark for me. There's a lot of front-end damage. You see a lot of steam coming out of that car. You just don't want to see a fire start right now. But you can see officers from LAPD, they're working traffic more than anything else. That was the reason why I was staying tight. They're just trying to get people around this incident that just happened right here with that head-on collision. So everybody else, that you know that the person inside this car jumped out pretty much right after that collision. This person staying in the driver's seat, but we can clearly see a cell phone, that movement inside the car. So if they're injured, hopefully it is not life-threatening. But again, what a violent end to a very crazy pursuit out here this morning. That person in custody right now. But after a head-on collision with an innocent driver on the 405 freeway for absolutely no reason at all. And this is one of those incidents where, you know, what could law enforcement have done better? We saw it happen. There was very little they could have done to bring this to an end. And again, it also shows you how these pursuits can change so quickly when that driver makes a decision. That driver did, colliding with that vehicle there that was stopped on the freeway while they were trying to bring this pursuit to an end.
I think this was a lot more unusual than a lot of pursuits, Stu, that you cover, in the sense that this was a vehicle that on those surface streets almost seemed to be targeting the black and whites that were chasing or pursuing the van, and ramming them. And so at some point, the officers sort of just had to pull back and follow the van to see where it went. It was already damaged a few black and whites there, and then went onto the freeway and turned into extremely dangerous situation with rush hour underway there on the 405 freeway.